Good morning, guys, or good evening, whenever you're seeing this. I really wanted to apologize for a few days, about a week or so ago. There was something I did on this very passage I'm about to share with you guys, and for some reason the sound didn't happen. So what I am doing here is I'm doing this on YouTube Live to ensure that it goes on. So please pray it does. I'm also going to post this on my computer. So both ways, hopefully and prayerfully, this will go well. Again, hello. Good evening. Like I said, I apologize that this didn't make it because there was a sound issue. But I really wanted to reshare some stuff that I had posted from last week and share with you guys some things that God is really showing both Ricky and I. It's the only way to put it. I was reading this morning out of the book of Lamentations, and it's a very interesting book. In particular, I'm reading chapter 3, and I wanted to share the verses that I posted, over a week ago. And I want to share this with you because I think it's really important right now. I love how the prophet says, "This I recall to mind, therefore I have hope. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul, therefore I hope in him." And it also goes on to say, "The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to those who seek him," or to the soul who seeks him. "It is good that one should hope and wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." And, as I was reading this morning's devotions, when Ricky and I were reading it together, I really got that. It just jumped out, a lot jumped out at me. I couldn't hope to know what the prophet Jeremiah was going through when he wrote Lamentations. To picture all of that destruction, there's just no way I could do that. I'd probably be going, but I wanted to share with you a few things from the previous thing, on how really awesome God has been to us over the last couple of days, over the last week or more. We're really having it rough, but God's been showing himself to us in ways that
incoming subspace
I totally forgot were possible, is the only way to put it. Over the last week or more, we've been relying on food pantries, and they've been a very big blessing. And they've been a blessing in just surprising ways. If not with getting meat, fresh meat, one place we actually got fresh milk, and that just blew me away. And there have been other ways. We've had, I like to refer to as anonymous angels that have been making sure we have what we need, and just for how good God has just completely been to us. Even making sure with these food pantries, they're making sure that we have food for Isabella, which just blows me away. And I just can't help but say thank you to the Lord. And I really needed this passage this morning because I needed that reminder that God is truly faithful, and that, like this morning's devotional writer was stating, that sometimes there are times where God withholds results because he's lovingly disciplining us for a sin that we've done. But more often, there are other times that these loving delays are there to renew our trust. I was reminded of a very interesting verse out of Isaiah that says that God's ways are not our ways. His ways are higher than ours. And I've been reminded of that. I've been reminded of just so many things. And I think that the thing that gets me with this is the verses 22, aside from verses 22 and 23, but also verse 24 that says, therefore I'm going to hope in him. And I needed that. I needed the reminder that, I have hope, that Ricky and I have hope. I needed the reminder that God is still looking out for both of us despite all the craziness. That God is going to take care of us and see to our needs despite how depressing it's getting. And one of the other things that's been going on within the last week, this past month, my mother's had some serious health issues. She had twice within this last month. She had to be rushed to taken to the hospital because she had a complete and total blockage in her large intestine, and it was really bad. It warranted surgery. The second time around, she went in for surgery and had surgery, and she's doing really well. But, I have this thing in the back of my mind, is she going to be home for Christmas? And I really would greatly appreciate your prayers for her right now. And in the midst of all these things we're having these financial things, I think of my mom and my sister and my brothers who, they're experiencing their own financial issues. And I think, they're
incoming subspace signal.
There are people that have it much worse. I think we could not have a place to live. We could really be homeless, God knows what. But I praise God that we aren't. And yet, I see how God is being faithful to us, even in the little teeny things. Even in the food pantries that provide fresh meat for us. Yes, canned veggies, things that you're not expecting. And just, as I said, we had, even, yes, getting food stamps. Even though we're only getting $32 a month in food stamps, that's, to me, the biggest blessing in the world. But also, we've been having anonymous angels provide, money for us. And yesterday, we went to a local store, and Ricky wanted to introduce me to something called smelts. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but I'm being introduced to it tonight. And I'm actually looking forward to it because I've never heard of it before. And we've been having difficulty finding it because apparently it only comes around once a year. And we bought a couple packages of frozen smelts, and we're actually going to have some tonight. So it's, again, something I'm looking forward to, and it's just one of those little blessings. There's so many other things. At the rescue, seeing these little cute fur babies. They're furry little lives that God created, and they're finding homes. We have one little orange sweetheart that's a ball of fire named Confetti that's being adopted this weekend. We have another kitty there, Ribbon, who I think may very well be adopted herself too. And it's just a reminder to me of how faithful God is, that if he can take care of these furry little lives, if he, takes care of the animals, feeds the birds, the fowl of the air, and owns a cattle on 1,000 hills, how much more is he going to do for us human beings if we choose to trust him, if we choose to do what Matthew 6:33 says, and seek his kingdom, seek him first in his kingdom, and then everything will be added to us. I needed that reminder. And I really loved what the writer of this morning's devotion said in this area, and I want to read it, because she was speaking about having this hope for a baby tree for Christmas. And her prayer for a baby was answered, but it wasn't answered on Christmas. It was answered Easter weekend. And that shows you God's timing. But she says here, and I want to share this. At times, God's apparent withholding results from his loving discipline, as I said before. And other times, God lovingly delays to renew our trust. Here in Lamentations, the prophet Jeremiah describes God's correction of Israel. The pain is palpable, especially reading verse 13, which says here, He has caused the arrows of his to quiver, to pierce my loins. One translation says, He pierced my heart with arrows from his quiver. According to what I read with this, loins here means kidneys, vital organs. These arrows, he says he feels like these arrows have targeted and successfully gotten at vital organs. And Jeremiah, the way he describes the destruction of Jerusalem all around him, I would probably go nuts if I were to see this. And yet, here is this prophet in the middle of all this, stating what he states in verses 21 through 24, that he chooses to hope in God. And if he can choose to do that in the midst of this, so can I. And I want to say, so can you. You know, I said before, quite a while back, something in regards to that, about hope thou in God. And I encourage you to do that. I really, truly do, because I think it's important. I think we need to have hope in God. I think we need to choose to, how do I put this? We need to choose to put our hope in the one who will not only never ever leave us or forsake us, but the one who, his ways are higher than ours. His ways are beyond our comprehension. That he is truly faithful. That he is truly trustworthy. That his covenant love is not going to run out on us. As I said, this past Sunday, how his love is steadfast. It never ends. His mercies are truly new every morning, and his faithfulness is great. And that's something that I really praise God for. I don't know about you, but I really, truly praise God for it. And as I said earlier today, and I want to say this again, that my prayer for all of you guys, if you're experiencing this, to choose to hope in God, that you'll come to see God's faithful covenant love in your very own life, and that you'll see his loving hand, even in all the delays, even in Lord knows what's going on in your life, that you'll choose to see his loving hand in it. And remember that his ways are not yours. I think of Amy Carmichael, and I would encourage you guys to Google her. She was a missionary to India, and she learned at a very young age about how God answers prayer, and sometimes the answer is no. And there are moments where the answer will be no. And that's where you need to realize that God's got a better plan. And that's what Ricky and I are learning to see, and I pray that you will too. I pray that no matter what, you'll learn to take hope in God's faithfulness. I've got to get going. We have a whole lot to do today, but I pray that this is something that you will learn to realize, that you will learn to see, and most of all, that you will learn to take comfort in. You guys have a really good day. Bye for now, and try to stay warm wherever you're at. See ya.
Incoming subspace signal.